Welcome back to Bay Sunday. Go get the kids. He's the 6-time Nickelodeon Kids' Choice Award winner for favorite book and one of Time's 100 most influential people in the world. Jeff Kinney, author of the Wimpy Kid series, is here, and he brought his latest book called Diary of a Wimpy Kid, Double Down. Welcome, Jeff. Pleasure to have you. I'm fascinated by how you got your start. You were a computer major in college, but you somehow got into this business. How did it happen?
I was actually a computer science major and then almost failed out of school, ended up as a criminal justice major, and then ended up trying to become a newspaper cartoonist for about 3 years. I finally realized I wasn't going to break in because my art style wasn't professional enough. So I had this idea that maybe if I drew as a kid, I could sneak my cartoons into books, and that's where the idea for Diary of a Wimpy Kid came from.
And tell us, the kid in this series, Greg Heffley, fictional character, but he's based on someone.
Yeah, Greg is, I think he's a collection of all my worst parts as a kid, as a grown-up, and then amplified. So Greg makes lots of mistakes. I think that's what's kind of fun about Greg, is that he's not perfect. You know, he's not your heroic kid in literature. I think kids can see themselves in Greg.
Yeah, I was watching a clip from the movie as well, and you see these certain scenes. There's one scene where he's in middle school and they're in a gym class or something like that, and the teacher says, all right, shirts and skins. When I saw that, I was thinking, gosh, that was me, where you felt kind of awkward to take off that shirt for the first time in front of all your peers.
Right. I think I'd still feel very awkward taking off my shirt in front of my peers. but I think I'm trying to do, you know, I'm trying to look at childhood from every angle. I'm trying to take those things that were embarrassing memories and then, you know, and then cast them in a humorous light, because I think comedy really is tragedy plus time. And so a lot of the things that happened to us in middle school that were painful are actually funny when you look at them in the rearview mirror.
And in this series, you essentially worked on this after you were done with your full-time job every day for several years. Tell us about that process.
Yeah, I worked on Diary of a Wimpy Kid for about 8 years, and I worked on it just about every night. So 8 years from start to finish, and then at the end of it, I had 1,300 pages. I wanted this to be one big book, actually, for adults. I was writing for grown-ups who wanted to remember what it was like to be kids. So then my publisher, my eventual publisher, said, you know what, you've actually written a children's series. So that was a huge surprise to me.
I'm reading a book right now. It's called Grit by Angela Duckworth. It talks about perseverance and passion. And it seems like you have that grit. I mean, it takes a certain type of person to commit hours and hours after a full workday. For you, was that difficult, or was it easy?
It was difficult. I think for me, I was actually just putting off the inevitable failure and rejection, because I had spent 3 years trying to get a conventional comic strip published. And then I thought, you know, this thing that I've got, this Diary of a Wimpy Kid idea, it's too weird, the format's too strange, it's never going to work. So all that time, I think that I was stalling in a way. I thought it was my opus, but I wanted to get it just right so that when I did get rejected, I could say, you know what, I tried my hardest.
Right. What do you say to people out there? Because there are a lot of people who say, all right, I have my job right now, but I want to work on this. I want to work on a book. I want to work on a memoir or a cartoon or whatnot. What do you tell them, and what's your recommendation, some tips for them?
Well, I had that experience. I had a full-time job. I really think you can have your full-time job and then have your dream on the side. You know, I learned a lot from my mother, who raised us kids, and she worked full-time, and then she became a doctorate at night. You know, she became a doctoral student at night and got her PhD. So I learned that you really can do more than one thing at once.
Yeah, that's absolutely fascinating. Jeff, thanks so much for joining us, and much success in the future.
Thank you very much.
Once again, the name of his newest book is called Wimpy Kid, Double Down. We'll be back with more Bay Sunday after this break.